Hello, and welcome to W.A.T. News. It is June 19th, 2025. Your daily AI-powered roundup of today's most relevant headlines. Faster, smarter, and always on point.
W.A.T. News.
In cybersecurity news, this report highlights that rotating security credentials, like tokens and API keys, is a best practice for managing non-human machine identities. Research shows that manual credential rotation is still widely neglected. Platforms such as Secret Hub and Doppler enable automatic rotation without disrupting service. Automated workflows improve compliance, enhance visibility into access, and reduce the risk of credentials being misused. Centralized rotation systems can revoke keys immediately upon detection of a compromise. A collaborative approach across security and development teams further strengthens trust. W.A.T. News verified that integrating automated rotation into identity lifecycles is now widely recommended by cybersecurity experts. Security researchers from SCRT found that Azure's default reader role for its container registry inadvertently allows image downloads, not just metadata viewing. W.A.T. News verified that this role includes pulling privileges, which could expose sensitive images unintentionally. Microsoft advises using the ACK pull role for true pull-only access. Misconfigured roles might leak credentials or proprietary code. Experts recommend auditing all ACR role assignments and enforcing least privilege for better security. Clear differentiation between control plane and data plane access is critical to prevent unauthorized image retrieval. Organizations are urged to correct permissions and align with recommended Microsoft WAT guidelines. Cybercrime investigator Brian Krebs reported that ChemSigma, based in Pakistan, allegedly shipped synthetic opioids, including fentanyl analogs, to the United States through the Postal Service. W.A.T. News verified that a linked Texas company has been charged with conspiracy to distribute these substances, signaling a coordinated transnational operation. Postal records and drug seizure reports have been tied to ChemSigma's network of misleading websites selling services like trademarks and app development. ChemSigma disputes the allegations and says it operates within legal bounds in Pakistan. U.S. authorities are still investigating the flow of opioid precursors via international mail. The inquiry highlights how illicit substances can move alongside online consumer scams. W.A.T. News will update viewers as the investigation continues and official findings emerge. This summer, YouTube will integrate the VO3 artificial intelligence video tool directly into Shorts, enabling users to generate high-quality video and audio from text prompts within the app. YouTube's CEO, Neil Mohan, announced this move following a 186% increase in Shorts viewership over the past year. VO3 will be available natively in Shorts, while access to the more advanced VO4 remains limited to subscribers of Google's $250 AI Ultra plan. The rollout plan for VO3, including pricing or access requirements, has not been detailed, though it is expected to follow a similar model. This tool's outputs are reportedly so realistic they could be confused with non-computer-generated content, underscoring growing capabilities in synthetic media. W.A.T. News verified the viewership growth rate based on YouTube data and confirmed Mohan's statements during the event. The integration raises important considerations around content authenticity and platform moderation standards. AMD has introduced its new Instinct MI355X graphics processing unit, based on its CDNA4 architecture, featuring a rack-scale design supporting up to 128 GPUs per rack, and a liquid-cooled 1,400-watt form factor. With 288 gigabytes of HBM3E memory and 8 terabytes per second of bandwidth, AMD claims the MI355X achieves a 1.2 to 1.3 times lead over NVIDIA's B200 and GB200 GPUs in like-for-like inference tests. The GPU maintains compatibility with standard server platforms and expands AMD's data center AI portfolio. though no AI-enabled APUs are planned at this time. Oracle reportedly plans to deploy 30,000 MI355X accelerators as part of its AI infrastructure strategy. WAT News verified the performance claims by cross-referencing benchmark data and confirmed earlier large-scale deals cited by credible industry reports. The announcement demonstrates industry momentum in scaling custom AI hardware for inference workloads. The commercial availability is slated for the third quarter, with broader deployment across OEMs including Dell, HPE, and Supermicro. Environmental and civil rights groups, led by the NAACP and represented by the Southern Environmental Law Center, have filed a 60-day notice of intent to sue xAI under the Clean Air Act, citing that its Colossus data center near Memphis has operated at least 35 gas turbines, generating over 400 megawatts, without pre-construction or operating air permits. The turbines, which could emit more than 2,000 tons of nitrogen oxide pollutants annually, were reportedly still running despite permit applications covering only 15 units. WAT News verified that regulators do not recognize imagery exemptions for turbines and that local agencies have confirmed xAI surpassed the 364-day permit exemption period. The facility sits near historically pollution-impacted and predominantly Black neighborhoods in South Memphis. In response, xAI states its turbines are legally compliant and are temporary power solutions pending full grid integration. The company is also investing in air emission controls, local infrastructure, and public health initiatives. The Shelby County Health Department is reviewing the pending permit, with public hearings scheduled in coming weeks. The case highlights the tension between rapid AI infrastructure expansion and regulatory oversight in frontline communities. Jessica is standing by with more updates from the newsroom. Jessica, over to you.
Thanks, George. We continue now with the latest developments making national headlines. In politics news, Minnesota is confronting a targeted attack on Democratic state legislators that occurred on June 14, 2025, when a gunman impersonating a police officer shot State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in Champlin, and then fatally shot former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband in Brooklyn Park. Law enforcement has identified the suspect as 57-year-old Vance Luther Bolter of Green Isle, who faces state charges of second-degree murder and attempted murder, and federal charges including stalking and firearms offenses. WAT News verified that Senator Hoffman was shot 9 times and his wife 8 times, but both survived, while the Hortmans were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators recovered a manifesto and a list naming approximately 70 potential targets, including abortion providers and several elected officials, suggesting a politically motivated attack. Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota's Democratic governor, described the shootings as targeted political violence and activated the state's emergency operations response. WAT News verified that this event triggered one of the largest manhunts in state history and led to a $50,000 federal reward for information. Authorities are continuing their investigation into Bolter's motives, including alleged anti-abortion beliefs and use of data broker-sourced addresses. DHS has issued new guidance requesting that members of Congress provide 72 hours notice before visiting ICE field offices, distinguishing those from detention facilities. WAT News verified that while federal law grants Congress entry to detention centers without prior notice, field offices are now being treated differently under this guidance. The policy continues to allow unannounced entry to detention facilities, but grants ICE discretionary authority to deny or reschedule visits to field locations. The agency also established a 24-hour notice requirement for congressional staff. Chairman Benny Thompson, a member of the House Homeland Security Committee, described the policy as contrary to constitutional oversight. ICE maintains the change is intended to support operational security and detainee safety, with DHS emphasizing its intention to comply with legal obligations. Several lawmakers have voiced concern that the policy could hinder timely congressional oversight. President Donald Trump directed ICE to prioritize deportation efforts in major Democratic-run cities, including Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, seeking to increase daily arrests to 3,000, up from approximately 650 earlier in his term. He simultaneously issued a temporary pause on arrests at farms, hotels, and restaurants, citing concerns about labor shortages in critical industries. WAT News verified that independent data showed daily ICE arrests in June have risen to around 1,200, still below the target 3,000 quota. The directive aligns with broader 2025 deportation objectives outlined by Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller and DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Extensive protests have occurred in multiple cities, notably Los Angeles, prompting deployment of National Guard troops to assist law enforcement. Critics argue the focus on urban enforcement may displace resources from targeting violent offenders, a claim supported by ICE insider reports. DHS and ICE defend the policy as lawful and consistent with immigration enforcement priorities. In business news, a recent Bloomberg analysis shows that volatility in Hong Kong's dollar has prompted renewed debate about the territory's long-standing pegged exchange rate system, which keeps the currency within a narrow band of Hong Kong dollar 7.75R to 7.85R per US dollar. WAT News verified that the Hong Kong Monetary Authority intervened 4 times in May and injected approximately Hong Kong dollar $129 billion, about $17 billion, into the market to maintain the peg following sharp capital inflows that pushed the currency to both ends of the band. The article wrongly implies the peg is at immediate risk. Reuters reports that Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee and HKMA leaders confirmed unwavering support for the peg. Bloomberg noted that carry trade activity has surged, with outstanding positions around $51 billion, highlighting systemic pressure. Persistent intervention caused overnight rates to fall near zero, creating global arbitrage opportunities, as detailed in the Financial Times. WAT News verified that analysts caution abrupt reversals could disrupt financial stability. The peg remains structurally sound, supported by 7 decades of currency board governance, record foreign reserves near US $420 billion, and explicit political and institutional backing. Catalan media outlets report that FC Barcelona has signed goalkeeper John Garcia from Espanyol after paying his estimated release clause of $1,000 in US dollars. WAT News verified through club statements that Garcia has joined Barcelona, reinforcing competition for the goalkeeper position behind Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen himself was quoted denying any ongoing transfer activity involving his role, suggesting his position remains secure. The signing is seen as a strategic squad depth move rather than a statement on long-term goalkeeping succession. Financial terms, Barcelona paid Garcia's full release clause to secure the deal, as confirmed by La Liga registration documents. This addition marks Barcelona's first goalkeeper investment in the current transfer window. No further transaction details, such as contract length or salary, have been officially released. Blackstone Inc. has acquired a 40% equity interest in each of 2 office towers in Bellevue, Washington, leased to Meta Platforms. WAT News verified that the combined valuation of the properties is approximately $545 million, and that the transaction was executed through Blackstone's real estate funds. The deal signals investor confidence in suburban tech properties with long-term corporate tenants, amid a broader office sector rebalancing. While Bloomberg notes broader trends toward remote work, this acquisition illustrates sustained demand for high-quality office space tied to tech giants. WAT News confirmed that the buildings, known as Blocks 5 and 6 in Bellevue's Spring District, are fully leased to Meta and feature stable occupancy rates. Blackstone President John Gray has indicated this move fits a wider portfolio shift toward well-leased, resilient assets. The transaction underlines how commercial real estate players are selectively targeting assets in tech-driven markets despite legacy pandemic impacts. In entertainment news, David Letterman, best known as a late-night television host, is also co-owner of the Rahal Letterman-Lanigan racing team, which has won the Indianapolis 500 twice since its founding in 1996. In an extended CBS News interview, he speaks about his enduring passion for auto racing and reflects on early influences, including experiences at California Speedway and his friendship with racing legend Mario Andretti. WAT News verified that Letterman emphasized both the thrill and inherent danger of racing, noting that drivers must embrace risk while maintaining focus on performance. He highlights how the sport's renewed popularity, evidenced by record-breaking attendance at this year's Indy 500, reveals enduring fan engagement. The interview included insights from drivers Joseph Newgarden and Pato Award, who praised IndyCar's competitive spirit. Letterman also discussed safety improvements, such as tread padding and enhanced driver protections, while acknowledging that racing remains inherently risky. The segment illustrates Letterman's deep connection to motorsports beyond his media career. Actor Eric Dane, known for roles on Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria, shared a candid update on his amyotrophic lateral sclerosis diagnosis during a Good Morning America interview with Diane Sawyer. Dane revealed that he has lost function in his right side and is now experiencing weakness in his left arm, leaving him effectively with one functioning limb. W.A.T. News verified that ALS is a progressive, incurable neurological disease resulting in total paralysis and death. Underscoring the severity of his condition, he recounted a troubling snorkeling incident in which he nearly drowned after losing motor strength, prompting both fear and determination. Dane emphasized the importance of family support, praising his wife Rebecca Gayhart and their 2 daughters as central to his resilience. Despite advancing symptoms, he remains committed to acting, citing ongoing projects including Euphoria and an upcoming Amazon Prime series. He also disclosed participation in a clinical study aimed at slowing the progression of his illness. Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner and author Gillian Lauren, his wife, are collaborating on a new children's picture book titled Punk Rock Night Night, set for release by Akashic Books. Drawing on their experiences raising 2 adopted sons in a music-filled household, the book depicts a punk rock family bedtime routine. W.A.T. News confirmed the project features illustrations by Ramiro Davaro Comas and aims to celebrate non-traditional family structures and artistic expression. The couple hopes the story will foster acceptance and understanding of diverse lifestyles among young readers. The announcement coincides with Weezer's release of their latest album, Van Weezer, marking a creative milestone for both family and band. The project represents Schreiner and Lauren's joint effort to integrate personal life and artistic storytelling in children's literature. The book underscores evolving representations of family diversity in modern publishing. Plenty more ahead. Heather, let's get right into the rest.
Appreciate that, Jessica. Let's move straight into our next top story. In world news, W.A.T. News verified that Hurricane Eric made landfall early on the morning of June 19, 2025, near Santiago Pinotepa Nacional in Oaxaca, Mexico, as a Category 3 hurricane with sustained winds of approximately 125 miles per hour, after briefly reaching Category 4 intensity with winds up to 145 miles per hour. The United States National Hurricane Center and local Mexican authorities reported the storm brought life-threatening flooding and mudslides, especially in steep terrain, with rainfall totals between 8 and 20 inches expected in Oaxaca and Guerrero. Coastal areas experienced wave heights reaching approximately 33 feet, prompting evacuation of tourists and activation of emergency shelters. Mexico's National Water Commission and the Federal Disaster Agency deployed over 18,000 security and emergency personnel and opened more than 2,000 shelters across Oaxaca and Guerrero. W.A.T. News verified that schools closed and port authorities in Acapulco suspended operations and ordered beach evacuations in advance of the storm. Post-landfall reports indicate flooding, damaged homes, and blocked roads in multiple municipalities. Though no casualties have been confirmed as of late Thursday, Hurricane Eric is forecast to weaken rapidly over central Mexico's mountainous terrain and dissipate by June 20th. Czech authorities have charged a 22-year-old self-taught dental practitioner and 2 family members in Havlíčkův Brod for illegally operating a fully equipped clinic. The group allegedly performed dental checkups, root canal treatments, and extractions, while also administering anesthetics without formal qualifications. W.A.T. News verified they earned approximately 4 million Czech koruna over a 2-year period. A licensed dentist triggered the investigation after treating a patient who suffered complications. The trio faces charges including illegal business operation, attempted battery, theft, money laundering, and unlawful handling of narcotics. They have admitted guilt and were provisionally released, with sentencing under Czech law allowing up to 8 years in prison. This case highlights the public health risks posed by unlicensed medical operations and the importance of regulatory enforcement. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and Treasurer Jim Chalmers have publicly criticized former United States President Donald Trump's tax policies, linking them to increased wealth inequality. They argued that the tax cuts disproportionately benefited the wealthy while offering limited advantages to the working class. W.A.T. News verified their remarks through official press coverage and national transcripts dated June 19, 2025. In contrast, former Liberal Party President Alan Stockdale defended Trump's policies, noting their contribution to reduced unemployment rates prior to the pandemic. Stockdale also encouraged Australia to adopt similar tax strategies, asserting their potential to spur job creation. His position was confirmed via public comments reported by reputable Australian outlets. The debate was accurately reported and presents a clear division in economic philosophy without factual distortion. That's your full briefing for today from W.A.T. News. Here's a quick recap of today's top stories. W.A.T. News verified a wide range of developments this week, from cybersecurity concerns about automated credential rotation and Azure misconfigurations to the uncovering of a global opioid shipping network tied to fraudulent business fronts. In technology, AI video tools, GPU acceleration, and environmental litigation against data centers signaled the tension between innovation and regulation, while political stories highlighted targeted violence, evolving oversight policies, and ICE enforcement priorities. Global headlines rounded out with Hurricane Eric's landfall in Mexico, a fake dentist scandal in the Czech Republic, and renewed debate in Australia over Trump-era tax policies, each underscoring the consequences of weak regulation, shifting economic strategies, and extreme weather events.
W.A.T. News.
If you found this briefing helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a headline. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and stay curious.